Hello everyone, welcome to Fallen Timbers. My name is Jared and I am here to give you a tour of Fallen Timbers Environmental Center. Fallen Timbers is a school forest owned by 6 different school districts in the Green Bay and Fox Valley area. Those 6 school districts come to us for environmental education. So they come here, we get to do a lot of fun activities outdoors, and they get to learn a little bit more about the environment around them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a couple of our buildings that are around here at Fallen Timbers. I'm going to show you some of the cool landscapes that we have, our pond, our prairie, our ephemeral pond, and then I'm going to give you a few pointers on what you should do to make sure that you have a good visit when you come here to see us at Fallen Timbers for your classes. All right, the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to go into this building right here. That is our Nagel Building, the main nature center building where most of our classes happen. So we'll go ahead in there and you'll get to see all of our taxidermy and all of the main classrooms that we use here at Fallen Timbers. All right, we are now at our Nagel Building. It is the main nature center building that you will come to start your day. So when you get here, you'll walk down the driveway here, come into this building, and this is where we will greet you for the day. So as you walk in here, you will see our first room. This is the entranceway to the building. We usually have a fire going to dry some gloves or warm up throughout the winter time. And as we move this way, you'll go into the main nature center room. And then this is where we'll have you sit down and we will go through our plan for the day. The next room that we're gonna enter is right over here. It's called the Discovery Room, and I'm gonna teach you about something called taxidermy. All right, we're now gonna go enter our Discovery Room. That's this room right here that's next to our main room. This room here is full of something called taxidermy. Taxidermy is basically really big stuffed animals with real animal fur or feathers on the outsides of their bodies. So like this big deer here, all right? This is real deer fur, but on the inside of this deer is now like stuffing or styrofoam. All right, and we use these taxidermy to be able to teach students what these real life animals look like without having to have a real life bear in the classroom. So now I can walk right up to this bear. I can know what they look like in real life, but I don't have to be next to a real life bear. That wouldn't be that safe. All right, we have a bunch of different types of taxidermy in here. We have everything from bears to buffaloes to fish. We even have some birds like this turkey. All right, so these are all things that you'll be able to see here when you come visit us. All right, one thing that we do ask is when you are here, I want you to look at this blue line that's on the floor here. We ask that our students walk up to that line, but don't go past that line. Because if all of our students come here and they touch all these animals, sometimes those animals shed their fur. And because these animals aren't alive anymore, they're not gonna grow that fur back. So when you come here, you can walk right up to that line, you can look at those animals, but we have to remember that you cannot touch any of those animals. All right? Next, we are gonna go outside. We're gonna go look at 2 of our other buildings that you might see on your trip here. We teach out of those outbuildings throughout the year. So I want you to introduce those to you, and then we'll go on a big adventure. We'll go look at our pond, our prairie, and maybe even take a peek at our ephemeral pond because that's really cool this time of year. All right, now we're outside. I want to show you a couple of our other buildings just quickly. So I walked down the trail over here. That is the main nature center building that we were just in. I walked down this trail here, and then these are our 2 other buildings I wanted to show you. The first building over here is our LUTC classroom. So that used to be an overnight building that had bunk beds in it where students would come here for some overnight classes. We don't do those all too often anymore, so we transformed that building into classrooms. So the left side is a lab where we have a bunch of tables set up to do some lab type activities. And then the right side has some benches and a desk in front, kind of like a classroom. All right, this building over here, this is our winter sports cabin. So we use that one in the winter time a ton. The left side has our cross-country skis in it. And then the right side has snowshoes for us to go snowshoeing in throughout the winter time. Sometimes we'll have classes in there throughout other times of the year, but we mainly only use that building in the winter time. All right, we are going to go down this trail over here, and we are going to go over to our pond, and I'll show you what that looks like next. All right, we are now at our pond. That's the main nature center building that we were in before. The pond is just behind it over here. So our pond is about 1.5 acres. An acre is like an area of land. It's not that big of a pond, but it's big enough for what we use it for. The pond has some fish, specifically minnows, little tiny fish, but it also has some other creatures in it that we explore through our pond study class. Next step that we're gonna go to is we are gonna go all the way over to our prairie, and I'm gonna show you what that looks like at this time of year. All right, so welcome out to our prairie. This prairie right now isn't as grown up as it normally is. Normally, the grasses in this prairie are up to about my shoulder, if not way past my head, depending on what time of year it is. The blue stem grasses that grow up in here are known to grow up to 6, 7, 8 feet tall at times. So throughout the summer and next fall, walking through here is kind of like walking through tunnels of grasses, and it's really cool to see. We do a lot of classes out here related to prairie study. We look at the birds that are using this ecosystem, and we definitely check out all the insects that are crawling around through the grasses as well. All right, next we're gonna go sneak down this trail over here, and we're gonna go check out our ephemeral pond for a bit. Right, so back behind me is our ephemeral pond. An ephemeral pond is a seasonal pond that's only here at certain times of the year. Right now it's springtime, so because it's springtime, all of the snow has just melted and then flooded this area up to create this seasonal pond. These ephemeral ponds are super important for animals and for humans, and we talk about that in our ephemeral pond study class. So that's one activity that we do in this area. We also use these wonderful trails all throughout the year, especially during our winter sports activities like snowshoeing and cross-country skiing. We spend a lot of time in this area. And then if you peek back into the woods here, you can see our Cartier maple syrup cabin. And we use that cabin to make maple syrup in and teach students how that's made. But then we'll also teach some other classes out of that building throughout the year as well. So we're gonna do one more thing before we wrap up this video. We're gonna go back inside, and I'm going to give you a couple tips and tricks on how to make sure that you're gonna have a great time here at Fallen Timbers. We are back in the main Nature Center building in the Discovery Room, and I wanna talk to you about one more thing before we wrap up this video. And that thing is how to stay comfortable when we're running around here at Fallen Timbers outside and having a bunch of fun. One of the biggest mistakes that students make before they come here is they don't bring the right clothing. All right, to have a really good time out in nature, you just need to dress for the weather. All right, so making sure that you're warm, making sure that you have a hat on your head to keep your ears covered so your ears don't get cold, having gloves on in the wintertime to make keep your hands warm. Those are all things that are gonna make your time a lot better here at Fallen Timbers. The one main thing that I want you to try to bring when you come and visit us are boots. Our land here at Fallen Timbers is basically one big flooded swamp. It's a bunch of lowland area that holds a lot of water. And when you walk around here at Fallen Timbers, your feet might get wet if you wear just regular tennis shoes, or if you wear flip-flops or something like that. If you wear boots like this rain boot right here, if you wear boots like this, your feet are gonna stay dry, and that's gonna make your time here at Fallen Timbers a lot better. All right, rain boots like this are great for the springtime or even right away in the fall. But then once it starts to get chillier out, I want you to wear winter boots to keep your feet warm. All right, we do classes outside for about an hour at a time. So you need to dress for that amount of time to make sure that you're comfortable to go through our classes. So yes, please, when you come here to Fallen Timbers, bring the right clothing so that you can have fun with us throughout our class time. I hope you enjoyed our tour of Fallen Timbers. I can't wait to get students out here and to see you out here having fun and learning about all of the stuff Fallen Timbers has to offer. All right, I'm excited to see you, and I hope you're excited to come here and visit.